All right, so peripheral vision is our next, and this is one of our latest exercises. This was just added, honestly, today. So if you're getting this, by the time you get this, you'll have it in your app, but this is really brand new. I've been playing around with it a little bit, but we're still within beta test flight version here. Cool exercise. So here's the thing with the peripheral system is that it's the majority of our visual field. And up until now, we haven't really done anything as far as our application here with the peripheral system. And so we want to train it. And it's a great addition. So we just talked about visual maps, using combinations to cause and pursuits to improve it. Well, you can also use a manual task in your periphery to improve that visual map as well. And this is what this exercise is about. It's also a very good dorsolateral prefrontal cortex exercise. Sounds like a lot of these are, because there's a lot of volitional control. And in this case, we're going to have central fixation. We're going to look at the center target, and we're not letting the eyes drift away from that center the whole time. So there's an image, a shape that's going to be in the middle, and you want to find that matching shape in the periphery, and you have to make contact with that matching shape in the periphery without breaking fixation. Okay, so you're using the peripheral system to do that. All right, so we have the option, oh, here it is. We have the option to isolate a specific quadrant or to have a motion. So let's start with the motion. What motion means is that the peripheral targets are going to move either clockwise or counterclockwise around the center target. So if I move them clockwise, and let's say in this case we get two, okay, level is right here. So if you want, you have 5 levels. Level 5 has the most amount of targets. Level 1 has the least amount of targets. Okay, so I'm going to run it clockwise, and I'm going to hit start. My instructions to the patient is to look right here, and with the peripheral vision, touch the matching shape, okay? So if I were to look at it like this, I want to make sure that I don't break fixation. Now, what you can do clinically is you want to look at their eyes to make sure that you look for movements. You want to make sure their eyes are staying fixed and still. Because if you see any drifts, any movement off plane, then that's something that you want to be aware of, because as they're progressing, you want to see less and less of them. So you might even want to count them and make note of them. And that's if you can, be attentive while they're doing this exercise. That might be the way that you test their ability to do this exercise, is to see how accurate they are, and also to see if there's any visual drifts, any saccadic drifts here. And so you'll see that by the time we finish, this runs for about a minute, okay? And I got 13 correct. I made 1 error, so at some point I missed the target. My average reaction time is 4.4 seconds, which is terrible. It should be a lot faster. I was busy double, triple tasking here. But this is a great exercise. We focus so much on restoring that central 5 to 8 degrees of central vision, which is really super important, and that's why we put so much emphasis on it. But we have to reconnect with our peripheral system too. So I like this exercise. I think it's a really great one to add in to kind of tune that peripheral system. And you can do maybe a combination of this with other more centrally based exercises. So there's other features in here. Naturally, you can make it go counterclockwise if you wanted to, clockwise, counterclockwise, or we can turn off the motion. And let's just say that I wanted, we'll do upper right here. Let's say I wanted the targets to just appear in the upper right quadrant. And we could do one target, which would be really easy. but we can go all the way up to 16 targets, which is the hardest. And with 16, I'm looking in the center here, and I've got to touch the correct one. If I'm not perfectly accurate, I have to do it again, and then again. And then at the end, it gives you your accuracy score, and it gives you the reaction time score. And those are good to note because over time, you want your patient to improve. So you can make note of what those scores are, and you want them to inch forward, constantly progress forward and improve. So if I did multiple quadrants, what you would have to do, let's say, we'll just do the right field. Let's just say in this case, we've got a hemisphericity. The left hemisphere is just not efficient. Everything we're doing is aimed at that left hemisphere. Or if I had more specifically a left temporal lesion, then we want to activate the right upper quadrant. If it's a left parietal, it'd be the lower quadrant on the right. But if it's the left hemisphere, it's going to be the entire right hemisphere. So I'm going to do right quadrant and right quadrant. And okay, we'll leave it at 16. And in this case, actually, one important thing to know is this number is a number per quadrant. So there would actually be 32 if I leave it on 16. So that's a lot. So if I bring it down to 8, for example, now I'm going to have that center target, I'm going to have it in the upper quadrant and I'm going to have it in the lower quadrant. I've got to touch both, okay? So here we go. I'm going to hit training. I've got a star, and I've got a star here, and then I've got a star here, and done. So you have to touch them both in order for the screen to move on to the next one, okay? So you get one per quadrant. And one thing I'm working on is to give us maybe a light up green, that might light up to show that we've touched it accurately. But that's something we're going to have to add very soon. Okay, so that gives you, I think, a pretty good overview of what this peripheral exercise is. Again, for those executive deficiencies, you can throw in a series of these exercises that are good for the executive center, and this is a great one to add in as well.